So you've decided to build an app in FlutterFlow, and now you have to decide what you're going to do for your backend. There's two obvious choices. You're either going to go with Supabase or Firebase. And I'm assuming because you clicked on this video, you've decided to do Firebase. If you don't know what Supabase is, I encourage you to check it out. And then if you still decide that you want to do Firebase, come on back to this video. I'm going to show you how to use Firebase with your FlutterFlow app. Alright, so today we're going to work on a to-do app, and I'm going to try to cover most of the things that you're going to need to know for Firebase in this video. And if I don't, you can always leave a comment down below and ask any questions that you have. I do offer free consulting, so if that interests you, feel free to check that out. I'll leave a link to my website in the description below. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I've created a new project, and I'm just going to click Start Building. First, I'm going to give it a name. We're going to call this To-Do App with Firebase. All right, we're going to start building. Okay, so first thing that we're going to want to do is go to our settings, and you're going to see Firebase somewhere. Yes, right here. Let's just let FlutterFlow create a project for us. So we're going to click Create Project. Keep the same thing. That looks good. Pick a region based on where you are. I'm United States, so I'm going to select that. And then we're going to click Sign In with Google. Okay, so while that's thinking, we're going to go in here and create our to-do app. To-do list. All right. Pretty straightforward. We're going to click on the column here. I'm going to add a widget. And let's add a list view. We're going to go over here to expansion. We're going to expand that. And let's go ahead and we're going to use a built-in checkbox. Checkbox list tile, I believe it's called. So let's type in checkbox. Yes, checkbox list tile. Perfect. All right, so that's the basics there. We're going to hop back and see how Firebase is doing. Okay, so the Firebase project's been created. So let's go check it out on our console. Okay, so this is what the console looks when you first log into it. Now, there's just a couple things that we want to do here. So we're going to be using Firestore, which is the database within Firebase. And just so you know, we have a lot of different services in Firebase. So we have Authentication, we have the Firestore database, which is going to be your primary database that you would use. And we've got storage, so if you're building an app and you want to have users upload photos or anything like that, you can have Firebase store all that for you. You can also do some app hosting if you wanted to host a Flutter web app, for example. So all kinds of things, but right now we're just going to do the database. Okay, so it's already up and running. All right, so let's switch back to FlutterFlow. And we're going to go here. Now, let's just go in here. And we're going to create a new collection. We're going to call this To-Dos. Think of this like a table in a database. If you're familiar with, if you've done SQL in the past or something like that, this would just be a collection is the equivalent of a table. And let's just go ahead and start from scratch here. So all we're going to need is a name of the to-do. And we'll make that a string. And we can do something like created app, and this will, allow us to sort our tasks by, when we created them. We can even do due date, so if we want to specify, when this task is due, we kind of have fun with it. We can do a description as well. That's not a bad idea. And one more thing we'll do here is we'll call it completed. And this will be a Boolean value. So it's either true or false, whether or not we completed it. Okay, that makes sense. So let's see what we got here. Firebase setup. Okay. How about we generate the config files? Maybe that's what it's upset about. And this shouldn't take too long. Okay, that all looks good. So we don't need to worry about Firebase storage right now, but I'll tell you what, let's go into Firestore, and then we're going to click on this gear icon up here, and this is going to allow us to set up some Firestore rules. So this is perfect. So it's essentially saying that we can access this collection that we created. And it's, anybody can create, anybody can read, no one can write. That we want to change that to everyone for now, and everyone can delete. Now, this is just to get up and running. Whenever you're in production, you obviously don't want to have those rules wide open like that. But just to get up and running and show you how this works, we're going to keep it very insecure. But that's okay. We're not putting any kind of super secret data here, so this is totally fine. Okay, so let's go ahead. That's fine. All right, let's hop back in. All right, so now here's what we want to do. Let's just go ahead and build and make sure that everything is running as expected. And while that's going on in the background, let's hop back. And I'm going to do and we're going to go to the list view here. And we're going to go to the database query, add query. And we're going to query collection. And we'll select to-dos. And we'll have a list of documents. That's exactly what we want, just a list of our to-dos. Okay, we're not going to have any filters right now. We're not going to have any ordering. We can add that later. We shouldn't see anything because we haven't created a to-do yet. So let's see what it looks like. It should just be an empty list, unless I've messed something up perfectly. So no, it's perfect. So no items found. That's exactly what we wanted. But I do notice that the dark mode is on, so I'm just going to turn that off really quickly. We're going to go to theme settings, colors, and just flip this off. Now let's go back into Firestore, and we're going to switch back into the schema view, and we're going to go to manage content. And you can do this in the Firebase console as well, but I find that it's, at least for testing, it's a lot easier just to use FlutterFlow's UI here. So we're going to add document. This is going to be clean the pool. Every dad this time of year knows what I mean there. All right, so we created it today. And due date, let's get it cleaned by Friday. All right. And the description, add, let's see, scrub walls and add chlorine, something like that, not chlorine. And completed is going to be false, so we'll leave that unchecked. All right, so now, could not create an account as Firebase at FlutterFlow to your okay. So let's go and fix that. So I'm going to copy this Firebase at flutterflow.io. You will have to do this in your project as well. And we'll switch back to our Firebase console. And we're going to go up here to Project Overview. We're going to click on the gear, go to Users and Permissions. And, you're already on there. Okay, so that's not the issue. Let me go back and reread that. Make sure email sign-in is turned on. Okay, I just had to read the next line. All right, so let's go back. This is our Firebase console again. We're going to go to Build. We're going to go from there to Authentication. And we're going to go ahead and get started. And email password. By the way, Google Firebase supports multiple sign-ins, so not just email password, but you can do phone, you can do Google, Apple sign-in, get, pretty much any login provider you can think of, Firebase supports, so pretty cool. We'll go ahead and turn on an email password, and I'm not sure why we have to do this for Firestore. There may still be something else going on, but let's see. Let's go ahead and refresh this. And let's see if it likes the changes. Perfect. All right, so you can see in our to-dos collection, we have one document. Name is clean the pool. Description is scrub walls and add chlorine. And we got to create it at and due date, and it's not completed. Okay, I don't know if that's showing up as false. Let's click it and click off, update. Okay, perfect. Now it shows false. So before it was just null. Now it is false. So that's exactly what we want. And now we're going to go back to the test, and we should now see that if I do an instant reload. We should definitely see that in our list. So let's see if that's gonna. Okay. Well, that's because I haven't actually changed it. Oh, brother, I need more coffee. Okay, so we're going to go back to the UI builder. Okay, so now that we have the database query set up, we need to obviously pass that data into this tile. All right, so let's scroll down here. I'm actually going to move this out of the way. Let's scroll down and we'll set the checkbox initial value. We'll set that to the tools document, and it's going to be completed, right? Because completed is a true or false value, so we can easily just set the checkbox true or false. If true, checkbox will be checked. If false, it won't be checked. Pretty straightforward there. Now let's keep going down, and we should have a title. So yeah, we'll click here, update to, the title to be name. Easy peasy. And then now the subtitle. How about we do the subtitle as the due date? Well, we can either do created. I'll tell you what, let's do both. So I'm going to use a combined text here, and I'll show you how this works. So we'll say created, and then we'll add another text, and this will be to-dos document created at. And let's give it some formatting. Let's do date time format, and let's make it relative. So if it was just created, it'll, like it shows there, it'll show a moment ago or 5 minutes ago or whatever. We can always change it if we don't like it. And then let's do this. Let's do space, pipe, space, do, and then we'll add one more. We'll see how this looks. If we don't like this, we can always adjust it to not use combined text. We can do it as maybe separate text widgets or maybe even rich text widget. But let's just go ahead and see how this looks for now. I'm just kind of walking you through what I'm thinking. Okay. And I think that's good for now. Let's go back to the test session here, and we'll do an instant reload. Let's see what we got now. There we go. Very, very simple. Oh, I didn't do the formatting. I got ahead of myself. Let's go down to subtitle and due date. We'll add, let's see. This one we don't want relative, I don't think. Let's do specific, like Wednesday, June 4th type formatting. That looks good. Now let's go back and just do an instant reload again. Okay. There you go. So created 6 minutes ago. It's due Friday, June 6th. And here you can see we can check on and off. But that is currently not doing anything. That is just, we're just seeing it visually. But you can see here in the debug panel, we've got our results, and it has all the data. But no matter what we do, if we check it off, you'll see that the, why would that go empty? I'm curious. Interesting. You can see no matter, even that we've checked it, this completed still stays false when it should be true. Okay, so let's go back to the UI builder, and I'll show you how to get that fixed. All right, so we're back in the UI builder, and what we want to do now is when we check the checkbox, we want to update the document to completed equals true. And when we uncheck it, completed equals false. So pretty straightforward. So let's click on checkbox list tile and go over here on the right hand side to actions, and we're going to open. And we're going to do on toggle on first. Okay, and then we'll do the toggle off right after. So let's add action, and I'm going to type in Firebase. It's actually Firestore that we want, and we're going to update document. Okay, what document are we going to update? Well, we need the reference from the specific document. So we're going to go click on to-dos document reference. Okay, confirm. Now we get to select the field that we want to update, and that field is completed. Specific value true. All right, so just to recap, We are referencing a document to update, and we are updating completed to true. And little pro tip here, if we click on the three buttons, we can copy this action. We'll go here to on toggled off and click paste actions down here. And we just need to change this. Instead of saying true, we want to change it to false. All right, so when they check it off, completed is false. That makes sense. All right, let's close and let's see how we did there. Oh, we've already expired. So I'm going to get this reloading. All right, here we are. So we're going to take a look at, so when we check clean the pool, you can see that completed is false. And we uncheck it, it should be false. That's interesting. That's some weird behavior. Let's take a look at our developer console and just make sure that we're not getting any errors. So I'm going to clear this out and I'm going to check. Okay, so I don't see anything yet. Again, it is checked, so this should be true. I'm going to do an instant reload just to make sure that everything was caught. Because sometimes you make changes and you do an instant reload, but it hadn't actually changed it yet on the back end of things. Okay, so now we have completed true. So if I turn this off, it should be false. I don't know why it's deleting, or it's... Alright, well let's do it this way. So instead of checking the debug panel, let's go back and look at our this builder here. So this is, we can take a look at our rows this way. So completed is false. Alright, so I'm going to click this. And now you can see it is true, and I'm just going to confirm, and it is in fact true here. So that's working as expected. Now, what we can do is add a couple more things here. So how about we add a plus button down in the bottom right corner, and when the user clicks that, we can add a new task or new to-do, new to-do. Let's go ahead and implement that really quickly. All right, so I'm going to go here, homepage, and we're going to add a FAB. So this is going to be a floating action button. So you can see it puts it right there for us. And what do we want to happen? When we click this, I'm thinking we'll just have a maybe a pop-up that asks for the name of the to-do and maybe a quick description. Just something really simple like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new page. Create blank. I don't want to do it with AI, we'll just do it ourselves, and we'll call this to-do entry. Alright, and this is actually, we don't want a page, sorry. Let's delete that, that's my fault. We want a component. So click on new component up here, create blank, and we'll call this to-do entry. Okay, and I'm just going to throw in a container here so we can have a background color. I'm going to go over here on the right hand side, make the width infinite, and we'll make the height, let's say 500 pixels. We'll start there. We can adjust if needed. Now this is going to be a bottom sheet, so it's going to kind of slide up, and I kind of like it when the bottom sheets have the rounded corners at the top. So we'll do that, and that'll be in our border radius. So let's do 24 on the top left and 24 on the top right. So you can see now that it kind of has that nice round edge there. Okay, next thing, column. And let's go ahead and throw in two text fields. Well, yeah, we'll just do two text fields. We'll keep it simple for now. And I'm going to go ahead and set one up the way I want it, and then I'll just duplicate it so we don't have to do the properties twice. Okay, let's do a nice 300 width. Let's do the label text is going to be the name. All right, and we'll get rid of hint text for now. Okay, perfect. We want the outline. That looks good. Maybe give it a border color just so it pops a little bit. We'll do that. And border radius, let's do 12. Cool. All right, that looks good to me. We're going to give this a name. This is going to be our name text field. However you want to name that, it's fine. Okay, now I'm going to right click and I'm going to duplicate. So that way it has all the same settings and it looks exactly the same. That's what we want. And let's just do a couple things to make it look a little better. Let's center it. I clicked on column. We're going to center vertically. And we're going to have, let's do 20 pixels of spacing. And let's go ahead and apply to start and end. And I really don't think we need 500 pixels now that I'm looking at it, but let's go ahead and add our button just to make sure. We're going to add a button there, and we'll call this add to to-do list. Yeah, so let's go back to container. Let's change this to 400. Like that would, yeah. Might be able to get away with 300. Let's do that. So 300 name. This one needs to be, let's call it description. And that looks good. Okay, so now what do we want to do? When the user clicks add to-do list, we want to take the name and we want to take the description and we want to create a new document in the to-dos collection with those values. So I'll show you how to do that. Let's click on the button and let's go to actions. Let's go ahead and open up this action flow editor here. On tap, we'll go ahead and add an action. Type in Firestore, create document. All right, and then we have to specify the collection. We only have one, so that's easy. Let's do 2 fields, name and, well, you know what? We need another field in there, don't we? So we need 3 fields because create ad is going to be just the current date. So if we go global properties, current time, so that's perfect. So created ad is done for us, but we do need another text field for, well, maybe not a text field, but a date picker for the due date. So let's go ahead and remove that for now. We'll just get the name and the description, and we'll get that working, and then we can add 2 if we want. All right. So the name is going to be a value from variable. We'll select this, and then we'll go to widget state, and then this name text field, and select that. And we probably could name these better. So name text field is good, but then this one we'll call this description text field, just to make it easier on our future selves. All right. So open that back up. Now we should, for our description, we can go from variable, and now we should have description text field. There it is. Perfect. So this is going to create a document, but then one last thing we want to do is under navigation, we can close this pop-up, right? This bottom sheet. Okay, so now we've created that, but we haven't connected it to anything. So let's do that. Let's go back to our home page and back to our plus button here. So when we tap that button, we want to show a bottom sheet. So I can just actually type bottom, and we've got 2 options here, bottom sheet show and dismiss. So we'll just go ahead and click show, and component will be the to-do entry. And then you can pass in the height, but we already specified the height in the component itself, so we don't have to worry about that. But what I like to do is enable the drag, so they can drag it down. And matter of fact, one more thing, just to make this look a little bit better, let's go ahead and select this column where we have everything. Let's wrap that column in another column, right? And I'll close this to make it easier to see. And then we want to add a divider. So if we click and drag, put that in the top, you can see we've got this divider. Well, what this is going to do is we're going to set it to be 60 pixels wide, and it kind of gives that illusion that you can click and drag down, right? So just a nice little touch there. And actually, let's do, in the column, let's do start spacing of 5. So it kind of comes down just a little bit, but that looks really good. I like that a lot. So let's go with that. I'm going to do one more, bake cookies. Yeah. So now when we do it, you can see that it does get added as expected. So, and now we can check and do this and those things. will get updated. So right now, all of these 3 are not completed. So if we go and take a look at our data, you can see that they are all false. So that's good. So this is the back end database. You can see this in Firestore as well. If we go over to the Firestore dashboard, excuse me, the Firebase console, the Firestore database, you can see that we now have a to-dos collection and then each of these documents, right? But FlutterFlow just gives you kind of a nice, easy way to view it. So this is what I like doing. Let's go back to the app itself and let's turn these all back on here. And you can see now they're all true. They're all completed. Okay, and you can specify, for example, if we wanted to go back and say, click on the list view, and I only want to see tasks that I haven't completed. So we can do that. We can go filter, and we can say completed equal to false. We can confirm that. All right, so now when we reload, it'll only show tasks that we haven't completed. We probably should have turned one off so we'd at least be able to show it. Okay, so let's go back and update this one. Let's update this one to false. So when we go back, you should see, okay, here's one task that we haven't completed. So when we check that, it's going to update to true, and then it's no longer going to show on the list. Okay? I'm trying to think if there's any other examples that I can show you. That's probably it for this video. If you want to see authentication, please leave a comment down below if you want to see that, and I can certainly make a video on that. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to leave a comment and ask those questions. But I also offer free consulting as well. So if you want to check that out, that'll be on my website. I'll leave a link for that down in the description. And that's it for this one. We will see you in the next one. Thanks for being here, guys. Bye.